Morning here in Camp Taters as we try and delay getting out of the tent as long as we absolutely can, because do you know how horrible it is once you try and dig a cat hole? It's really bad.
Oh.
So this is my usual Nightcore 20K battery, the thing I live off of when I'm on trail. On this one, I actually got the voltaic battery. It's also supposed to be 20K. And per them, it's supposed to work a little better charging off the solar panel at like lower voltages. It's the weirdest thing though. It has 4 lights on it, and you would think that that would correspond to like, 25% per. Normal battery though, when I run this one, I can get like 2 charges off of 4 lights, 1.5 out of 3. And then by the time you get to 1, you're just done. This one has been on 1 dot for an entire charge. It's bizarre, but it never stays on 4 dots. In other news, we finally got the rental stickers off of our boat, though you can still see the imprint, so we no longer look like we're driving a rental. I am very cautious when it comes to stealth camping due to various experiences on the ECT, etc. So normally I would want to be even further from some sort of a farmhouse, but we didn't have any issues, and we didn't even hear somebody from over there. All we could hear is the road off to the left. We were relatively hidden back here. So both Gaia and Caltopo have a layer that will show you the land parcels. The data doesn't seem to be the same. Caltopo will show me NA a lot more, while Gaia seems to identify it better. So as it turns out, the reason why I wanted to check this spot is this little forested bit is on the end of a farm, and it's actually owned by somebody else who obviously didn't do anything. It's a small strip. So and there's no roads coming out to it. So the chance of anybody coming across us here was relatively low. Generally, the best way to find stealth spots that I've found is actually Google Maps. You go to the satellite view, you look, and you can see, okay, are there houses, etc. Because I have friends who have like set up in a bush, and then the sun goes down, and all of a sudden they realize there's like a house right over there. Which is fine if it's a little easier if you're one person, especially if you got a bivvy or something, you can go pretty much anywhere. More people, the more you stand out. So today is all about getting as close to Brainerd as possible, and why aren't they biting you? Go towards her. Okay, Blondie, new plan. When I dig a cat hole tomorrow, you're going to hover right above, and you're going to drive all the mosquitoes off. We're going to a new level. You remember that time you let...
Don't.
It was a wag bag thing on the Green River. Made total sense.
You should probably cut that.
Anybody else hear crickets? So yes, Jen is getting bit by mosquitoes less. That's the takeaway from that. We are mostly clear for today. There may be a small bit of rapids. Brainerd is probably tomorrow. St. Cloud is the town after that, where we may actually try and get a hotel, Airbnb, shower, etc., etc. Because eventually the dead mosquitoes kind of accumulate within your layers. Also, there are a bunch of dams down there on the map, so we will actually get to portage a little more, which Jen is really looking forward to, the portages. And as always, the worst part of getting in the water is going to be the mud that extends for about 4 feet towards the end. You can see where Jen went down last night. So we already armored up to get out to protect us from the mosquitoes. Now we armor up to go out into the mud. Just to give you the full effect of what this is like. Oh man. Oh, it ain't stopping. The big trick is trying to get in and not just transfer mass amounts of mud into the boat. There tends to be a lot of swishing.
Swish, swish.
Swish, swish. And almost flipping the boat. I'm very glad we have a canoe. Also, can you imagine if we had 2 kayaks here? Like what we did in Green River? Twice the fun, twice the unloading, twice the pulling. Oh yeah, that would be so much fun. Every morning when the mosquitoes are so bad, I try and get Taters to make a viral video for me. I want her to do the stereotypical AT Instagram girl thing. Sports bra, cleavage shot, best day ever, guys! Except covered with mosquitoes. We're talking it looks like she has a shirt on made of mosquitoes. I think that would be great. The Trek would probably feature it, considering all the other absolute bullshit Remember, guys, if you see a bear, stay in your tent, call 911, and wait for hours and get your knife out. Also, if we've got anybody at home who is like trying to think over, how would I make it in if the mud was that bad? And thinking about like trying to set branches out, we did try that. Unfortunately, wet wood plus mud just made it really slippery, so that's why I went down this morning. My theory is we need a ladder, a really big ladder, and we just extend it straight out. Unfortunately, I really don't know how long the mud's gonna last, but I suspect it's most of the way. I mean, big muddy, right? Also, I remember a picture on the Mississippi Paddler group last year, which was somebody who was up past their waist in mud, and their friends were trying to get a paddle out to them to like drag them out. So that's why I deploy the Taters back there, because if she is at least like you can see the top of her head, the mud's only gonna come to here on me.
I thought you were gonna say because I'm lighter and don't sink in as much.
That's what I'm telling her. Also, I don't think she ever saw the movie Neverending Story, so she doesn't have the trauma that the people of my generation had. For those that haven't seen, it's basically child hero riding through the forest, hits some quicksand, and back in the 80s, quicksand was different. It's not like today's quicksand, where it's just kind of a pain to get into. I have like pictures and video of us going through quicksand. No, in the 80s, it like sucked you in, drowned your party members. You had to get like vines to pull yourself out. Interesting. Is that part of climate change that the quicksand has changed? Anyway, rode the horse into the quicksand. The horse like died in the first 5 minutes. It was the most traumatizing 80s movie other than Transformers, where they like, oh, it's the Transformers, I like them. And then they're like blown apart on screen because Hasbro wanted more toy money. Also, The Princess Bride, which I also don't think she's seen. Rodents of unusual size, like ripping your neck open. Well, yes, he's mostly dead, but that means he's a little bit alive, so we're just gonna like fry him back to life. And Jen is just like,
Don't I have a paddle, please?
No. No, instead, I am going to summarize all of the themes of Chris Elliott's Cabin Boy, so you can truly understand what it's like to be on a boat. Your faces don't work when you cover your face and you look like you're gonna rob a train. And that, Blondie, is why Will Wheaton is the worst audiobook narrator in the universe. Unfortunately, my shoulder was noticeably worse this morning and seemed to be uncomfortable pretty quick after paddling. So we decided to take the extreme measure of putting Jen in the front position and basically having me rudder in the back so I could take it easier. This also had the effect of driving me pretty much crazy because I do not sit still well. So that is a mother and baby deer, and they started out over there, swam all the way over there. Came over here, circled around for a while, and now they're back.
Super cute. This is one of the cutest things to happen on this trip so far. Aww.
Oh, little guy. We are still in this just super calm section. Not sure what the weather's doing. Weather forecasts have been threatening rain for a couple of days, but then it clears out and pushes off. So we shall see.
If you're wondering why we've switched positions and I'm now getting to be the bow paddler, it's because, number one, we can empathize better when we've switched places, so now Matt understands the challenges of steering a boat around things, and I understand how important it is to call out obstacles early. And also, Matt needs to give his shoulder a break, which means I am now the powerful person in this team. It's a slow team, but it is powered by Tasty Taters. And so up here I can provide power without having to like compensate too much for which direction I'm going.
So we're not sure if it has to do with the lower water or what. We still see boats tied up on the edge, but we haven't seen a single boat moving around all day. And if we did yesterday, it was just one. I think we saw that kayaker the day before. But yeah, for whatever reason, all the boats are just parked, and it is currently a Saturday. The weather's been decent. No mosquitoes during the day. There were people fishing on the shore when we were at that one campground. So it's 7 o'clock. We're around the 30-mile mark, and we've been hearing thunder off in the distance, which, I mean, the last time we heard that, it was perfectly fine. Let's find a nice, big, wide open area and just paddle through that. That would be nice and exciting. Interestingly enough, we are headed for a rest area / paddle camp, and we just saw a paddle camp sign back there in the wrong place. So we're not sure what's going on here. So we may be stealth camping again. Lots of eagles. We even saw 2 of them fighting earlier. So we found Half Moon Lane, and we are just trying to figure out what's here. For the record, it looks like Half Moon is a half-mile back there, and the map is just wrong. But there is this boat launch, and there's a spot, so I think we're staying here.
Buddy, I don't think you want to climb up that.
He's after the ticks. He is the king of his domain.
Yes, hop away, hop away. No, not onto the fly. There you go. So I am pretty well covered up while I'm paddling. I probably have all of like 8 square inches of skin exposed, mostly on my fingertips, and I am getting tan there. Today was a lot of really nice paddling. We got into some taller trees, got into an area with less houses, and I know there's roads around, but there was pretty much no road noise for most of the day, so it felt pretty nice and remote. Lots of deer, tons of deer today, and tons of the usual eagles and turtles and stuff. Camp tonight is a solid middle of the road camp. Not our favorite just because we're on a road, but it is in a really nice, pretty quiet area. No mud to deal with, not a lot of ticky vegetation to push through. Home sweet home for the night. You should probably cut that.
Anybody else hear crickets?